Today I'm going to demo TrustCache, which is a service that lets you confirm the authenticity and status of virtually any document. At a high level, we start with any sort of document that can be represented in a digital format. We take that document, we hash it, sign it, and then that becomes the locator for that document in a database. So as an example, I start out here, if you can see on the left-hand side, I've got three documents. I've got a little excerpt from Tolstoy, got an excerpt from Dr. Seuss, and I also have an MP3 of the song Blurred Lines, just to show that literally any kind of document that you want, whether it's text, whether it's encrypted, if it's a verifiable credential, anything at all, we can start with. From there, you quickly run this through the signing process, and you end up with something that looks a bit like this. So for example, in that Tolstoy document, generated a locator right here. As you can see, it's very non-intuitive locator. It doesn't give you any information about what the document is, or frankly even where in the database it is sequentially, but it allows you to uniquely identify that particular document. In addition to that, we add a little bit of metadata about the document, and we add this authentication key, which allows the issuer of this document to go back later and make changes to it. So this is all the information that's needed for a system of record to register a credential, uniquely register a credential with a TrustCache service. It's very lightweight. It's just HTTP post. Super easy to do. Most systems can integrate with this without any problem whatsoever. So let's go ahead and send this to the Certify API, and then we get a response back that just says it is successfully registered. And I'm going to go ahead and do that with actually I'm going to go ahead and do this with the Blurred Lines one as well. And you can see that despite the fact that they're very different files in very different sizes, the locator itself is about the same size, so it really doesn't matter how big the file is. So we'll go ahead and we'll register this as well. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that locator value that we just put in here to certify Blurred Lines. I'm going to go over to the Verify API call, and I'm going to insert that locator value in here, and I've already done that just to save time, but you can see there's the locator value. And we do the same for each of those documents that we talked about. I cheated a little bit and kind of pre-populated some of this stuff in a URL. So if we look at the actual URL, we can see that here is the locator value, and we just have the API prefix to that. So I'm going to go ahead and copy these one at a time, and I'm just going to bring up a little browser. Incidentally, for this demo, we also have generated these QR codes, which are the same thing as you see here. It's just an easier way. So literally, you can just take your phone, and if you want to do this online while you're watching, you can actually do that, and that should work fine too. But let me bring up a browser, and I will paste this URL in here. And this is again for the Tolstoy. You can go ahead and see it says certified current. It gives you a little snip of the locator value, and it returns the optional values, the metadata. And it says that this is in fact, Tolstoy, and this was done with we did an initial key generation. So the idea is if you have more, if you regenerate keys, this will come back as a different thing. Now, if I went in and, for example, try to verify the Dr. Seuss snippet, so we generated that locator. If I put that in here, since we didn't actually certify that, it'll come back and says we're unable to find what you're looking for. Now let's say I went ahead and went back to the Tolstoy example, and I decided I wanted to update it. In order to update it, I go ahead and change the current status. In this case, I'll say, or is current status. In this case, I'll say it's false because I'm going to be making some updates to the document as it was originally issued. And the change I'm going to make is I'm going to make the comment that, I removed the ending in this document, in this text. Other than that, everything is the same. So I put in a one-time code that I come up with. In this case, I just use the phrase, only I can authorize this action. It can be anything you want. And then I've got a signed version of that same string there. And I'll go ahead and submit that to the TrustCache service. Now again, this would be something that would be tied into a customer system of record whenever they update this information, whenever they update the credential that they've issued. So I'm going to go ahead and send this over, and it should come back and say that it was successfully updated. Now if I go back to verify that same record, it should come back and tell us that in fact it is certified but not current, and the reason is we removed the ending. Okay. Same sort of thing. I can go ahead and let's do the same thing over with the blurred lines document. Let's go in and update blurred lines, and in this case we set the current status to false. We have the tag in here that Marvin Gaye wrote it first. We put in the one-time code and the one-time code signature. We'll send that over. The system responds it's been successfully updated. And now if I go in to verify that on the blurred lines, it comes back and says we found it, it's certified not current. Here's the snippet of the locator, and there's that text that we just updated. Same thing happens if someone goes in here to delete it. Let's say that I want to delete the certification entirely. I enter the value. I send this off to the TrustCache service. It tells me it's been successfully deleted. Now if I go in and try to verify that again, and again it's the exact same URL, it'll come back and say, sorry, I'm unable to find what you're looking for. And that tells me that that it has no information about the request. Is just completely opaque. There's no leakage around there other than it just simply doesn't exist. Again, typically these verification requests would come in the form of QR codes that would be attached to a credential or to a document out in the field, or it could be something that is driven by a digital credential on your phone. It's very flexible, very lightweight. So when we look at kind of the architecture of the system, again, very simple, very lightweight, and intentionally so. We really have two entry points to it. We have the issuer side and we have the verifier side. On the issuer side, we have a public API. We have an account they have to create, and they're able to create these certifications and edit them. We do duplication checks, we do authentication checks, and then we write the record to the database. On the verifier side, you also have a public API. We do monitor usage, but it's not really an account. The intent here is that anybody who receives one of these credentials should have the ability to verify it. And so they just have one particular API call they can make, and that is to verify things. And it will tell you one of three conditions: either they found it, it's current, they found it, it's not current, and here's why, or they didn't find it at all. So that's basically it. That's a high-level run-through. Hope you enjoyed this, and thank you very much for watching.